Hungary under manager Marco Rossi had a remarkable Euro 2024 run. They showed tactical discipline and spirited play, narrowly missing out on qualifying for the knockout rounds, finishing just in behind the likes of Germany and Switzerland. Despite the disappointment, Hungary's performance highlighted their resurgence under Rossi's effective leadership. Here's how you can successfully replicate Hungary's Euro 2024 tactics in FC24. Under Marco Rossi, Hungary have consistently used a 3-4-2-1 system. Now, this system can shift and change and transform depending on the opposition and what they are looking to try and do in the game. Now, essentially, the two wider midfielders can drop back and help formulate a very solid, compact back five, helping solidify the defense in certain moments. And also, at the same time, they can choose to bomb forward and try and stretch the play and operate in those wider channels, looking to try and supply crosses and cutbacks into the box for your attackers. Hungary's tactical approach does look to implement a very sturdy, strong backline defense, looking to maintain a lot of discipline and make sure that they are always in their defensive shape and structure. So for the defensive style, it should be set to drop back. Now, you do see on the odd occasion Hungary pressing, and I will say use the D-pad and team press if you are looking to aggressively impose yourself on the opposition. Now, against Germany, we did see the front line of Hungary at least pressing and probing and trying to make sure that Toni Kroos, as well as some of the other players in that backline area, were very uncomfortable and didn't have lots of time and space on the ball. But you do want the rest of the team at least to try and, make sure that they are in their defensive shape, making it very difficult for the opposition to go ahead and play passes through them or try and cut them open and exploit them with their offensive outlets. The defensive width as well as the depth of the team should be set to 40 and 20 respectively. Now, this will help implement a very sturdy, strong defensive outlet from the side. Essentially, you do want to kind of create that nice compact central structure, looking to try and, drop into those central zones and more or less disrupt and disturb the offensive rhythm from the opposition, paired up with a mid to low block approach. Now, this will range between, I would say, maybe 20 and 40. I have put it on 40 just to have a bit more of a better offensive outlets to the system, but it will vary depending on who you are going to be playing. When they were up against Germany, they sat quite deep and they looked to try and hit them on the counter, but against a team like Scotland, they were quite happy to just creep up a little bit more higher up the field and look to impose themselves a bit more on the Scottish side. So a mid block to a deep block at times will be applied. The offensive outlet for this Hungarian side is all about transitions and pace. The build-up play will be set to fast build-up, so when they do win the ball back, it's all about the forward movements, all about progressing further forward with those vertical passes being played into the front line. Now, of course, you do have the likes of Salai as well as Dominic Szoboszlai, who are just in behind the striker, who are very capable of being able to drop a bit deeper, collect the ball, and look to dictate the offense with a bit more pace to it. So you want them to be progressing very quickly when you do have the ball in your possession, especially down the flank regions. The likes of Kekeresh down the left-hand side has proven to be an offensive threat at all times this tournament. The chance creation for the side, however, will be set to maintaining a balanced approach. Now, this can incorporate both the forward runs, because you want to flood men forward in certain moments. You want to try and create those offensive overloads, but you also want to have a bit more of a direct attacking outlet to your game, implementing the direct pass. Now, this can mean you can play those longer balls out from the back directly into your forward line or into your wider flanks. And you do want to try and implement a bit more of a balanced attacking outlet to the side, having a bit more possession in certain moments. We saw against Scotland, Hungary were quite happy to stroke the ball around the midfield and then try and work an offensive outlet. Or at times, we have seen versus Germany at least, they are quite happy to give Germany the ball, sit back, and when they do have the ball, they can go very direct and on the odd occasion flood men forward. Marco Rossi's side will consistently look to try and stretch the opposition's play, looking to pull them out of their natural defensive shape and structure. Now, essentially, you do tend to attack a lot down the flanks, whether it's the left or the right-hand side. You want to try and get the ball into those wider regions and supply crosses and cutbacks into the box at all times for your attackers. But in saying that, when you do stretch the play, you do tend to generate a lot of central space for either your midfielders or your strikers to go ahead and exploit. The players in the box should be set to 8, allowing for at least 4 players, sometimes even 5 players to be in the box waiting for the cross or the cutback. And we have seen that both the left and the right midfielders, or the left and the right wing back, they do also tend to make that back post run themselves. So that's why you want this set to 8. And then finally, the corners and the free kicks should be set to 4. Taking a look at the individual player roles and instructions set for these players by the manager Marco Rossi. Starting off at the back with the goalkeeper in Gulácsi, who will be set to maintaining a balanced approach for both saving on crosses as well as saving outside of the box. You aren't going to be playing the highest of line, so it doesn't require you to have a sweeper keeper whatsoever. And Gulácsi is more of a player that likes to stay on his line, make the saves, as well as also at times have the back line try and deal with the aerial threat. So he is prone to being able to, aggressively search for that ball when it is whipped into the box and sometimes alleviate the stress and the pressure on the backline, but at other times he can also allow for that backline to take a bit more control of the defensive issues and try and, head the ball clear in certain moments. And speaking of which, the backline, Fiola as well as Dardai will both be set to step up. You want them aggressively stepping up and posing the opposition, and we did see this against Germany. They were very aggressive, and whilst that defense was working overtime essentially, it was working very effectively. So you want them to be able to step up, impose themselves, but the central centre back, and this is Willie Orban, he will be the cover centre back, looking to try and, drop into the space that maybe the other two centre backs leave and try and cover for them as much as possible. So his interceptions will be set to conservative. For your two central midfielders, essentially Schaefer and Nagy do have the same roles and instructions apart from one or two tweaks to it, but both of them will be set to playing as box-to-box players. You want them operating in the final third, looking to, sometimes be on the end of those attacking runs and plays. Other times, you want them dropping a bit deeper, helping support the defense, looking to tuck in and make sure that the opposition cannot really stem together an offensive outlet in the central zones. When they do eventually get forward, though, you want them to both be able to stay on the edge of the box, circulating the play, but every now and then, we do see them making that advanced run a bit deeper into the box or making a late box entry to try and get on the end of a loose ball, a back pass, or sorry, not a back pass, but a cutback opportunity, or maybe a cross that's been pinged around the box and it's fallen to them. So you want them on the edge of the area looking to try and either circulate the play or sometimes be very involved in the attacking outlet. The interceptions will be set to normal, as well as the defensive positioning for both of them will be set to cover the central zones. Now, essentially for Nagy, I have set him to free roam, as this will allow him to more so drop a bit deeper and show for the ball, show for that, quick pass, especially in that first phase build-up, but also have him circulating in and around the attacking zones, looking to, again, pop up in the half spaces, show for the ball, be a consistent ball rotational man. Now, essentially, Schaefer will have very similar instructions, apart from the fact that he will be set to stick to position. You want him more or less holding his positioning in that left-hand space and having the likes of Salai, who will be slightly more attacking and in the box a bit more. So you want him to be able to cover, essentially, if you do turn the ball over in that, left-hand channel. So both the likes of Schaefer as well as Nagy will be very involved in trying to break up the offensive play and just trying to disturb the rhythm of the opposition's offensive outlets. Into the wider channels of the side, and both Kirkes as well as Bowler will be set to maintaining the same roles themselves, one down the left and the other down the right space. Both of them will be set to come back on defense. Like I said, you do tend to see a back five formulate, especially against the teams that are looking to dominate proceedings and possession. We saw this versus Germany, and we also saw a slightly more attacking version of both of these players versus Scotland. You want them to be able to come back on defense, especially looking to try and pick up the wider runners from the opposition. Most importantly, though, you want them to be able to hug the touchdowns, providing a lot of the width, looking to try and stretch the opposition on a horizontal plane, generating a lot of space centrally at times, but also generating opportunities out wide, whether it's a cross or a cutback. One of those will be a great offensive threat from your wider players. You also want them being able to aggressively run in behind, penetrate, and this will provide that nice direct approach, especially if you are looking to go long at times with the likes of a Szoboszlai, a Willie Orban, one of your centre-backs playing that longer ball further forward. You want them to be able to be that threat in behind at all times. So getting behind will be absolutely essential to the success of this Hungarian side. The interceptions will be set to normal, paired up with the support on crosses being set to balance. Like I mentioned earlier, we do tend to see every now and then one of these players making a late back post run themselves, looking to get into the box and attack that potential cross or cutback opportunity. As you'll see here for the likes of Bowler, he's got the same roles and instructions as well. The Hungarian right attacking midfielder will be the likes of Dominik Szoboszlai, who does tend to drop quite deep at times and pair up with Nagy as well as Schaefer in the central zones, looking to try and disrupt the opposition's builder play in the midfield. So you want him dropping quite deep at times, as well as having the ability to stay on the edge of the box. Now, every now and then, because the players in the box are set to 8, you will see him getting into the box. And this is quite good because it provides a very solid, sturdy balance in having him on the edge of the area looking to facilitate the play for the attackers in and around him, or alternatively, having him deeper in the box and providing a bit more of a playmaking ability in those more attacking zones. The positioning freedom will be set to free roam, as you want him drifting all over the place looking to get on the ball and help dictate the pace of this offensive outlet. And then finally, the interception should be set to aggressive, as Szoboszlai does have a very good work rate on him and will look to often drop back on defense, help win the ball back very aggressively, and then progress it further forward with a quick transition. The role of Salai as that left attacking midfielder is somewhat different to Szoboszlai. Now, of course, he is also going to be a creative outlet for the side, but more of a focused attacking figure points in the team. So he will more so be in the box waiting to land on the end of those crosses or cutback opportunities. At the same time as well, he does tend to drop back in certain moments, looking to help support the defensive structure, but he can also pose as a more of a direct attacking transition-based player, so he can choose to stay further up the field. So the defensive support will be set to basic, as well as the support on crosses will be set to get into the box. Now you want him positioning himself in the box at all times for the potential crosses or cutback opportunities that will inevitably arrive from either the left or the right flank. And linking the offense all together is the instructions and role of the striker. Now I have gone for Varga. I know he did get injured versus Scotland, and it's great to hear that he is okay. But the striker's role doesn't really change depending on who you have in the team. It will always more or less remain the same. Now, essentially, Varga is a very strong physical striker that can look to back into the opposition centre-backs, occupy them, and link up the play with the likes of a Salai or a Sabazlai or one of the wider players potentially. But he also does at times tend to slightly drift out wide, looking to peel off of the backline, looking to try and occupy the backline of the opposition in those slightly wider spaces, opening up a lot of central space for potentially an attacking midfielder to run into, or maybe even one of your deeper midfielders to make that advanced forward run. So you want him having a balanced width. Essentially as well, he is a very physical dominant striker, but he can also choose at times to drop a bit deeper and help support with the builder play, looking to get on the ball at a slightly deeper rate, either drive at the opposition or again effectively link up the play at a slightly deeper rate. The interceptions will be set to normal, and then of course you want him to also, just like with Salai, maintain a basic defensive support. Anyways, people, that is how I would successfully implement the Hungarian tactics from Euro 2024 into FC24. Of course, Marco Rossi's tactics have been splendid, they've been fantastic, and they have worked quite well at times for this Hungarian side. So you guys will have to let me know down below in the comment section what you rank and rate this system out of. Whilst you're there, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe and do all that good stuff. It would be appreciated from yours truly. Whilst you are there as well, have a look at the description. We do have a link down below for the Discord server, of course, the Bronze Squad Gaming Discord server. We have fat chats about football as well as FC24 and tactics and all that good stuff. So if you are interested, don't be afraid. Click the link down below. It would be great for you guys to go ahead and join. And in terms of the rating of this system, for me personally, I would give it a 5.5. Look, it's great, but I don't like the consistent transitioning and not really having control of the game. It's a common theme that you will see. A lot of teams that control phases of play, their tactics tend to be ranked a lot higher by me because I do like that style of football a lot more. But I will also say it's slightly higher than Switzerland's tactical approach and ranking and rating, and that is because they have slightly better players that can look to try and dictate the pace of play with, you know, various different games and against various different teams. So, you know, Sabazlai does tend to increase the rating overall wise. So, you know, it is what it is. But anyways, you guys will have to let me know down below in the comment section. Until the next time, until the next one, I hope you guys have a smashing goddamn day, and I'm out of here. Peace.